Hello and welcome to another episode of Playtime with Sorrow, Crossout Edition. Today I thought I'd go over just the basics of building, just the basics of building your craft. Not necessarily as a starter, but if you were to start the game and buy some kits, you might have some parts that normally you don't have. I'm going to try and stick to starter parts, but honestly, when you just start out, you really don't want to be building your own machine. I know that sounds contradictory to what most people tell you, but you can use what they give you and just build on it. They usually give you a little starter truck until you get good parts. But I'm going to be showing you just a few basics that you can use to build an effective machine. So let's see. First, you're going to need a frame. So you're going to go here and you'll find your frames under your cabs. Well, let's say you don't have the light frames yet, because normally you start out with heavy frames. Normally you start out with heavy frames, so we're going to go with this. We're going to start with the 4x4. And I'm going to try and... What is going on with this? Well, I don't know. What's going on with this? Ah, here we go. So... First off, look for your garage door. That is the front of the vehicle, always. And I know that's a simple thing, but it is easy to lose track. So, let's see. What I want to show you is the hiding method. That's the first thing I want to show you. So normally you would have the 4x4 and the 2x6s. That's normally what you would start, and the 2x4s. Okay, the 2x4s and the 4x4s is normally what you would start out with. So we're going to do the 2x4s. And what you want to do is flip that piece this way, like this. And put it on each side. Now, that gives you a space here to hide something that's 1 block wide. And it also makes extra room. So let's see. We're going to do that one more time on each side, right? Then we're going to take this one and put it behind there. Now, why, you might ask, would you need that hollow space? Well, you might have a fuel tank like this. You don't want your fuel tank exposed where they can hit it, because just a couple of shots and that thing goes boom, and it takes everything around it with it. So if you put it down there like that, right, and you take your cab, hold on just a minute, folks. Come here. Come here. Do you need something? No? Okay. My son came into the room. Alright, so you've got your fuel tank in your frame like that. And let's just say, for sake of argument, we're just going to use... Well, okay, I don't have a... Do I have a starter cap? I should. Yeah, we're going to use the starter cab. This is the cab you always start with. Alright, so you put your cab up. Say right there. Is that? Yeah. That gives you space for a bumper. Actually, typically you don't want to do that. You want to come back That way your bumper's flush, and if it's a big one, it comes up and guards your cab. Excuse me. So, you've got your cab down. Your fuel tank is underneath, right? But you've still got space, right? So let's see. Let's say you have a car jack. Actually, some players are very against having car jacks. They say it's just a waste of energy. And for the most part, they're right. Yeah, it's a waste of energy. Unless you get flipped over. With the car jack, you can flip yourself right back over. But without one, you can't. So what do you do if you get flipped and you don't have a car jack? Well, you die. Because you have to wait 30 seconds to flip yourself back over. Now, to make this a little bit meaner than most of your starters, we're going to put shivs on it. As soon as you can unlock and either build or buy the shivs, you want to get shivs if you're in the starter brackets. Okay, and the reason I suggest these, they got these little spikes here. They do a lot. They'll surprise you. You can rip parts off with them. They're not like using a weapon, don't get me wrong, but they can do quite a bit of damage if you know how to use them. That's another thing. Okay, so for this, let's go ahead and speed this up. I am going to put ST wheels on the back. I normally don't, but just for S and G, I'm going to put, yeah. We're going to put that like that. Let's see, let's get this thing moving because we still want to test it, right? Now, you notice this thing's exposed from the top, right? And plus, the whole back of your vehicle's exposed right now. So, we're going to come over here. And we're going to look at some of the... Oh, let's see. What would be a basic part that I'd probably have? You know what? We'll take this one. Half wall. And we're going to flip it. I'm going to put one there. And one there. There we go. So that's going to cover that. Not fully, no, but it's going to be good enough. Then we're going to come in and find your backs. Where are they? Excuse me, I've got kind of a dry throat today. Let's see. Here we go. Fender. There it is. I'm going to pop that there. We're going to double up. Anytime you have, say, 4 fenders, double them. The more coverage, the better. Now, you're not going to start out being able to put 74 parts on your truck. That's something else I didn't mention before. You have a parts limit, and when you first start out, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 20 parts. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look that up. But in a starter account, I believe it's like 20 parts, something like that. It's tiny. So right now you'd be at 19 parts, just like this. Your last part would be a gun sitting right on top. Okay, so this isn't for starter accounts. This is just basic building. Alright, this is basic building for, let's say, the slow player that's still low power, or maybe you're a veteran player and you like being in the lower power scores. We have a lot of those, but you don't want a still club, so this is just giving you ideas there. Alright, so now that we've done that, we want to take something to fill this void here. So what we're going to do, come around here like this. Because you see in the back here, that is not quite attached, is it? You want something that's going to attach to both sides there. Well, okay. We can do that for the front of the rear. The front of the rear. Yeah. And then right there. But what are we going to do for this space right here? Well, there's a neat little part for that. See that space right there? You need to connect those two, right? So you go in here and you get some of these small struts. I think you get these from the scavengers. I could be wrong. No, I think those are the engineers, actually. So the Engineers Guild, you'll be a part of at the very beginning. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that this might be a way to connect these two. Let's see. Yes. Yes, sometimes you just got to change your angle. So right now, that's connected to both that and that. That ties all that together. Okay. It's not going to be indestructible or anything, but it's going to help. Don't ever underestimate these parts, because they are very, very effective at holding things together. Okay, so for the last part here, we need to, let's see. Okay. Now what I kind of want to do is put a solid body on that back end. So let's take two of these. Random screams in the background. I apologize, but I'm having to do recordings while watching my kids, so you're gonna hear my kids. There we go. Is that symmetrical? Yeah. Now you don't want to leave this exposed, because they could just simply shoot under your back fender, or yeah, under your rear, and knock everything out from under you. So we're going to come in like this and throw some bumpers down. Now why did I do that? Well, two reasons. Number one, this is attached to this, so that makes a union there. This is attached to this and this, yes. This also has spikes, which means it has impact damage. Well, spikes and impact damage, so it's like kind of a double damage thing. So when they come to ram you, they might knock these off, but they're going to take some damage in return. I also did that because, no, it didn't cover that, but it put a firm little place that can be covered. So now we flip this around this way, and boom, you're covered. So they're not just going to do a direct shot into your fuel tank. They're going to have to go through that first. Now, the front. Normally, I can't remember if it's the engineers. You know, let's go look. Is it the engineers? Engineers. This is the one that you're... Yeah, okay, so the parts. Let's go right up here. Not those. Okay, level 1. Level 2. Which one gives you a plow? Level 3, level 4. Do you seriously not get any front bumpers at first? Maybe you start out with one. No, I don't think you start out with one. So, okay, level 2 unlocks this bumper. It's not really what I like to use, so... Where is that little thing? Is it in the engineers? It may not be in the engineers. I'm looking for the small plow. I'm starting to think maybe it's in a different faction. Let me see. Lunatics? Are you guys the ones? I think lunatics are the ones. Maybe. Nope. I guess not. Is it scavengers? Surely not scavengers. No, it's nomads. Nomads. At some point you're going to want to join the nomads. Because in the nomads, level 2 nomad, which is easy to reach, you get this little baby here, the small plow. Okay. So, now, let's see. Build. So what you're going to do with the small plow, you come in here, you're going to select your small plow. You're going to put it right there. Right there. Now that's going to keep them from shooting under your front right here. But you're saying, well, wait a minute. I got these sides here. Yes, you do. Good eye. So now you need to find something, anything that's long and slender that will fit in that side bracket there. So for me, I'm going to pick something like, well, you don't want to do these. I think these are shoot through. That's another thing I wanted to tell you. You've got pieces that are shoot through. And what that means is they can shoot right through them. You don't want to use those to cover anything with. So what I would do is I would take something like this, this basic Steppenwolf part here. I don't know how many of these I have. Let's go check that. How many of those do I have? I have one, so I won't use that. You need something that you have two of that's long enough but not too long. This may be too long here. Yeah, that's too long. Too long. Well, not really. Because, see, never forget that most things that you place under here have connection points as well. So, yes, that's perfect. I can use that. That covers it on that side. And use another one. Of course, I like symmetry, so. And that'll cover it on that side. Right? So you have those covered. Wait a minute. Did I do? Yeah. Okay, good. You have those covered. Now, what I like to do. By the way, we're up to 34 of 74 parts. I have a max of 74 parts right now. You can have up to 80 parts once you max out your engineers, I believe. So, but that's way beyond start out. So it'll take you a while. So what I like to do is I like to, well, I don't have two of them yet. Normally I'd have two strangleholds, but I haven't started fire starters yet. So I don't have the fire starters parts. Not really. So let's see. What I like to do, I don't have two of any damaging part right now, but what I'd normally do is I would have something like those spiked bumpers that I put on the back of that last one. I'd have them on the sides and have these bumpers on the backs and fronts, or plows or whatever. So, but I don't have that on this account yet. Now, if you want to make it extra tough in the front, there's this big fella here. You throw that thing there, it's a terrible bar. You see how that's spelled, right? So what that does is just gives you a little more ramming power. Okay. Now, 34 of 74 parts. Without weapons, we're sitting at 1647. Okay, so you have to bear that in mind if you're going to go low power score. Your weapon's going to add a lot of your power score. So without weapons right now, I'm at 1647. First thing I want to do before I even put any weapons on it, I want to test it to see how it drives. So it is not a speed demon. Okay. It is, however, pretty well armored. I say right before I die. That is the worst addition they could ever make to this game, was adding it where your friends, the bots of your friends, come into your test area, because you're there to test your damn car. You're not there to fight them. Some of them have some dang good weapons, so it's like, why would I do that, you know? He's gonna drive right at me. Dummy. Okay, so this thing is definitely not much of a rammer. Not really. But you see how that fender came off like that? That's my shivs. Those front wheels with the spikes. That's what those do. See? So surprisingly, in your lower power scores, those things are very helpful. Some players like myself, we like to use them in the higher power scores too. See that? You can just pop other wheels off. Not necessarily on every vehicle. Like certain types of wheels, like your what are they called? Twin wheels, like what I got on the back of this one. Those are a little harder to pop off. You're not going to pop those off with shivs by themselves. I mean, you could, but it would take a few passes to do. Okay, so it's at least maneuverable. It's not a very powerful vehicle. It's not going to run very fast. That's because of all of the heavy armor on it. So what that tells me is I need to put something on there that's going to really do some damage. Now, we get into weaponry. So I'm thinking with this kind of build, okay, you don't want to go with your drones. Your drones are for your fast builds. That's not a fast build. What is this? This is a yoga, what? That's one of those new parts I came out with. What does it do? Oh, it's a drone. That's weird. Okay, so I don't want that. Let's see. What would I put on a heavily armored slow vehicle like this? Well, it's got heavy armor, so it's going to be able to get up close, I guess. So see, for example, like one junk bow is 760 power score, right? So I've got 4 of them. I could probably get away with putting one up on the cab here. And what would that do for my power score? Now I am at 2407. That's right in the lowest bracket. Now you definitely, here's something else. You definitely want to attach it to the cab if you're going to run something like a junk bow, which is huge. It's a big target. People can knock it off pretty easy. But if you put it on the cab, they're most likely going to blow your cab up before they knock that off. So it's better that way. Something else I want to point out. Right now, the way I'm built, my whole cab is exposed. Alright? Now, I'm in a lower power score. That's the only reason I'm doing it that way. If you go into the higher power scores, you don't even want to see your cab. You want it so covered in armor you can't even see it. So, and that's not, I'm just giving you tips. It's not something that you have to do. I'm not going to call you a bad player because you don't do these things. Different players have different styles, and to each their own on that. I'm just showing you tips on how to build just the basic. It's a little further than basic. Okay, now here's something. With the fuel tank under there, that fuel tank, if you stay alive and your fuel tank is intact at the end of the match, you will get 5 fuel for that match. That's with that fuel tank. The large fuel tank gives you 10. So, if by some chance you wanted to use a large and a small and get 15, you'd have to have a bigger hole under there in your frame. Which I guess we could... we'll do that in the next show. Because I still want to take this for a blood test. So let's go give it a blood test, huh? Wait a minute. The most important thing. If you're gonna die, die pretty. So let's get some paint. Let's see, what would be good for this one? Well, could go with Down Under. They have trucks in Australia, right? They're probably the truck capital of the world. So, let's see, what else do I have? We use ice crystal to do our rims. Okay. I said basic, so we're not going to put any smokestacks or anything like that on there. Just did the rims and give it Down Under paint job. So let's go select mode, and we're just going to do a patrol with it. And you're going to be up against other bots, basically. So we'll do a patrol with this thing and see what we can see. See how it runs against actual competition that's trying to kill us. I really haven't done any tutorials on anything yet, so I'm hoping this does the trick. I mean, you basically put a frame down, you put your essentials in the frame, most likely. I mean, that's what I like to do. Some players and some parts are too big to put under the frame or in the frame. Some parts are just too big for that. But a lot of players hide their stuff in their frames. That's why some of us more experienced players, if we have something that pierces real good, we aim for the frame first. Not every time, but it just depends. You can see the builds and figure out, where they're hiding their goodies a lot of time. Oh, goody. Yeah. We're gonna be at the power plant.
It's time to bathe my freaking car in blood.
Man, this thing is slow. I definitely should have gone with something other than the junk bow. You really kind of need speed when you're running a junk bow. That way you're not getting picked apart so easy. So we're going to be sneaky, I think. Nope, we're not. They are. Oh yeah, baby.
No turning back now.
There we go. You know what I did right there was I put my shivs up against him. So I was doing damage while shooting and moving. So this is functional, you see. They haven't hit my fuel tank.
Come on, folks. The last car's here somewhere.
Oh yeah, he's probably immobilized. Ring the dinner bell. Come and get me, boy. Girl, actually. Sophia. Sophia. Where are you, Sophia?
Are you serious right now? The base is empty? Time to hustle, boys. We gotta grab it and go now.
I wonder if I can get a shot on him before anyone else kills him. Probably not. Yeah, no. Okay.
Good work, ladies. Keep it up.
Alright, well, you know what? It works. It works. There's your basic, your very basic, not very, very basic. I mean, there's some parts there that you won't have as a beginner, but it's a good beginner truck or low power score truck, I might say. I might go with something different than a junk bow though, because of its exposed cab and everything. You don't really want to be getting within shotgun range of other shotguns, because that cab right there, if I'm running a junk bow and I'm in a different vehicle, I'm coming to that cab first because that's an easy kill, especially with a junk bow. Probably about what, 3-4 shots and that thing's blown to bits. So you might want to put something meaner than that on there. Anyways, folks, that does it for this episode. If you like what you saw, please like the video and by all means subscribe. That way you'll catch more episodes. There are going to be many, many more. I am not quitting anytime soon. Not even slowing down. I'll see you later. This is Sorrow, out.